Automatic green cards. Green card rules relaxed.
The Supreme Court declined
to block Biden administration's relaxed green card USCIS rule that took effect this year from January 2023.
The announcement follows a Supreme Court decision Friday allowing the rule to be applied in all 50 states. Supporters praise the new rules for easing some strain on expensive public assistance programs.
The old rules might have had worse effects on prospective immigrants applying for green card.
We are not talking about people in this country illegally. We're not talking about undocumented immigrants. These are people who are trying to obtain permanent status in the United States. And if they are struggling financially, these new rules will make it much harder for them to stay.
About 500,000 immigrants apply for green cards each year. Under these new rules, the vast majority could be at risk of being denied permanent legal status. Not affected, people who already have green cards, pregnant women and children, and refugees and asylum seekers.
It's a rule that is designed to constrain legal immigration by reducing the number of people who are eligible for green cards and other visas. It's called the Public Charge Rule, and it determines how many public benefits an immigrant can use before their application for legal status is denied.
But this old rule is cancelled, and USCIS new Jan 2023 rule is in effect. As a result of this rule change, USCIS officially updated green card forms now.
USCIS has updated Form I-485, the application to register permanent residence or adjust status, and the form instructions. If you are physically in the United States, you can use this form to apply for lawful permanent resident status, which is also referred to as having a green card. Form I-485 and its instructions were essentially unchanged for many years. These updates make the form more user-friendly and the instructions more helpful and easier to understand. Let's take a look at some of the updates.
But before we proceed further, please like this video so YouTube algorithm can recommend helpful immigration-related video to everyone interested in this topic. Now let's continue with the new rule by Biden administration.
So who exactly does this expanded rule affect?
So I think it's the most important thing to realize is that the vast majority of immigrants it does not affect. The vast majority of immigrants are safe from this rule. So people with humanitarian visas, people who are refugees or asylees, people who are here sort of as who are victims of crimes or victims of trafficking. So all of those people are safe and are not impacted. The other important thing is that people who have their green cards already, as long as they don't leave the U.S. for 6 months, they are also safe. So this does not affect citizenship.
So, what is being done now differently than the previous rule? Starting on December 23, 2022, all green card applicants applying from within the U.S. will need to submit a new version of Form I-485, that is the green card application for adjustment of status. The government is collecting a lot of new data for the first time with this form.
What kinds of public benefits fall under this new definition?
Yeah, so that is also fairly narrow. I mean, people sort of think that there's a whole scope of benefits that it is included.
Let's discuss about it. Number 1. Attempting to balance your income assets with your debt. The government hasn't asked about your debts in the past. The new version of I-485 includes questions about your income, assets, and debt amounts. The types of debt you will be reporting are on things like home loans or mortgages, vehicle loans, student loans, and commercial small business loans. Revolving debt like credit cards and subscriptions are less important here, but you should still report them if they are significantly more than $10,000. Number 2. The government wants to know about your education, skills, and qualifications. You are now required to disclose your highest level of education, your professional certifications, and your job skills. This information helps the government determine whether you are likely to be employed and in what professions. Number 3. Your use of public benefits, in particular cash benefits you have collected from the state or federal government. The government will also ask if you have been institutionalized at U.S. government expense. Use of these public benefits is often restricted to U.S. citizens or their family members. Even when not restricted by government policy, collection of these benefits by non-U.S. citizens or permanent residents can now have a negative impact on your immigration application. Before continuing with this topic, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. Let's continue with the video. What does this mean for your green card application? U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services was not been transparent earlier about its decision-making process for these kind of rules. The federal agency now has provided some guidance to the public on what does and does not count for in the benefits section. For example, receiving free COVID-19 testing, vaccination, and treatment doesn't count. In the new form instructions, USCIS states that you don't need to submit additional evidence with your application to support the information you provided on the new section of the form. However, the agency can issue a request for evidence (RFE) if it wants to see supporting documentation. As with all information you provide to the government on an official application, you should be as truthful and complete as possible. Any omissions or contradictory information can be grounds for an RFE or a denial in some cases. Let's get into the next topic. Automatic green cards. This automatic green cards will be applicable only for a very narrow set of immigrants.
So I think it's the most important thing to realize is that the vast majority of immigrants, it does not affect.
The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has updated its policy manual regarding this automatic green cards. It will be issued to N-400 applicants. Those applicants will be now provided with 24-month automatic green card extensions. Earlier they have to apply manually using Form I-551. The policy change providing an auto extension of an applicant's green card applies to any N-400 application filed on or after December 12, 2022. Based on the receipt notice, the individual's green card will remain valid for 2 years beyond the expiration date listed. Accordingly, the applicant can then use the expired green card and the N-400 receipt notice as continued evidence of status as a lawful permanent resident, including for purposes of demonstrating valid work and travel authorization. This policy change by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services should reduce the burden on many N-400 applicants who otherwise would have had to also file a Form I-90 and pay yet another USCIS filing fee. It should also help to free up resources at the USCIS, as officers no longer will have to waste time adjudicating these I-90 applications. As the immigration forms are always changing, it's always a right thing to download the immigration forms from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, that is USCIS's official website.
Visit uscis.gov/I-485 for more information about the Form I-485 and to download instructions. You can also check out uscis.gov/greencard to learn more about eligibility requirements.
Thanks for watching.